Hello everyone, my name is Dellair Youssef and this is Revision Soziokultur podcast. One day a friend of mine sent me a link and told me to apply for this job. It looks like it fits you. I took a look and I said, okay, this looks interesting. Let's apply. I did. And then I had an interview with 3 nice people. I made some of my so-called stupid jokes, but thankfully they liked them and gave me the job. This job is, and I'm reading from their website, looking to commission a digital artist for a storytelling commission between April and December 2022 to create a 6-part multimedia diaries. This commission is open to artists globally. You must be bilingual, German-English. So, I have to do what they call multimedia diaries on the topic of socioculture in Germany by working with 2 other artists, an electronic musician, Benjamin Berry, and a comic artist, Azam Mazoumzadeh. And I have the freedom to select the multimedia form I want to profile 14 different projects. I decided to make 6 short videos, one for each part of this diary, and a podcast, which is the one we are listening to. In this podcast, I will host different projects that interact with the concept of socioculture. I wanted to understand this thing and what it means, honestly, and from the beginning. One of the main reasons that made me apply to this job was to see the world with different eyes, to get out of my comfort zone and try to talk to others, to other artists who live and work out of my circle. First, I would like you to introduce yourself and tell me who you are and tell me a bit about your job.
Yeah, I'm Leonie Henschel. I'm working at Kammerakademie Potsdam, and I'm organizing all the education programs and huge projects for them. So the orchestra Kammerakademie Potsdam, based in Potsdam, is a free orchestra. They are a chamber orchestra, so a bit smaller than the usual symphony orchestras. And they have their main concerts, like big symphony concerts at the concert hall here in Potsdam, at Nikolaisaal. But also, of course, go on big tours in Germany or to other European countries. And yes, and in addition to their main concerts, we have this huge involvement with the communities. We try to go into a quarter, into a community where children don't have the same opportunities as in others. So we have a very intense cooperation with one school there. It's called Potsdam Drewitz. And so we have a huge we try to involve the orchestra in over there, and so a lot of musicians go into the school on a regular basis just to have music being played there, but also for special little concert projects. And then we have a huge a project going on that is almost like a music theater piece each year, so that musicians go into classes and they prepare a little they prepare a little something, einen kleinen Beitrag, a little piece, and that will all be matched together to one huge music theater production in the end. And we're kind of now we are in the end phase to that. And in 2 weeks there are those final performances, and I have been talking for a long time, but my my job is to put these things together, to organize this opera project in cooperation with the school, and to organize all these smaller projects that the orchestra does in the communities with schools, with children, with youth, in addition to their main programming.
Okay, tell me a little bit about the history of the Kammerakademie Potsdam. When did it start? Did it always be in Potsdam, or you work somewhere else? How big it is? How many people working there?
Recently celebrated their 20th anniversary, and it's an orchestra based in the city of Potsdam. So it's one of the 3 orchestras that exist in Brandenburg, in the province of Brandenburg. And it's a chamber orchestra, so there are 34 members to it. So it's a fairly small orchestra. And the main repertoire is located in the classical period, with, of course, some Baroque music, and also going into the 21st century with the repertoire. The artistic director is Antonello Manacorda. It's a conductor, originally Italian, who has been with the Kammerakademie for many, many years now, and who really brought them together in their musical quality.
What I find really interesting actually in your project is that you don't only do music on a theater. Like usually orchestra, you go to an opera house, or you go to, I don't know, some music hall, and you listen to orchestra playing, and that's all. And they have their, I don't know, sessions, trainings, provas, and then like they do their concerts. But what you do is not only that, you work also with your local community. You work with schools, you work with kitas, kindergartens. Um, Tell me a bit more about that. How does that, like, what role does it play in your like job and the whole academy thing, and how this affect the local community that you are based in, which is like Brandenburg, Potsdam?
Yeah, so about a third of the musicians of the orchestra, like about 12 musicians, they are very engaged in the education part, and there are some musicians who specialize in writing concert concepts for the very small children, starting from the age of 3. So these concerts are very much are not only about listening, but about a whole experience of doing activities with the music, movement, and or doing little building little instruments together, and then playing together with the musicians. So they really try to find this approach that is really engaging for the very young children. And then in addition, we have this project in, how do you say, quarter, or in one neighborhood, specifically in one neighborhood, that really tries, we try to be very present there. Musicians go there on a very regular basis. They, for example, do small little concerts. It's called Cup Mobile, where they just stand in front of the buildings, in front of the balconies of the people, and play for them, or they they work. They go into the school and do little concerts, concert workshop formats that engage, again, are very engaging for the children, very interactive. And so it's from the beginning of when the orchestra was built, it was one of their bases, or let's say that the musicians had have an understanding that they also have a cultural, how do you say, Auftrag? They
Assignment?
Yeah, they feel it like a little bit of an assignment as well, but this sounds a bit negative. It's very positive that they feel like a little mission that they have to not only play concerts, but go to the people and build bridges and really take education serious. So they know that this is an important part of their work.
Okay, and then what does this all this project mean to the local community, to the city of Potsdam? How does it affect the people and how people see this project?
For example, we have specific concerts as well for non-hearing or hearing impaired people, and this community, for example, is very grateful, of course, that we try to work together with a non-hearing moderator, and we add this kind of acting to the music and try to make the experience of going to a concert available also to people who can't hear, actually. And this is just one of the many things we try to do. So we have certain audiences for certain projects that we do, and those audiences will stick with us and are kind of happy that this is actually happening. A lot of teachers, for example, love the concerts for children and try to come back, or we have some workshops for youth, and we had some nice feedback. We got some nice feedback from the teachers or the institutions, so they really appreciate it as a valuable part of the work. And also, of course, the politics. they take into consideration that this orchestra tries to be present in the various communities and tries to do some social work.
So I guess then for a project like yours and that big and politicians care and people around care, so it's not hard to get financial support, or is it hard?
Yeah, I mean, we have to actually get some additional funding as well from Stiftungen, from foundations. But of course, we also get substituted by the city and the province. But since we are a free orchestra, we have a higher rate of own income that we need to get.
But then that makes you you have to be a little bit pragmatic with your projects, right? You have to always write proposals and stuff. On the other hand, you have, I don't know, this super beautiful, nice ideas to make, and that doesn't always bring money, right? So how do you kind of balance between both?
Yeah, I mean, we have to balance in terms of timing, because of course we want to do a lot more projects than we can actually realize in terms of having the time and having the resources. Yeah, for sure. But this is kind of an ongoing issue for everyone, I guess, for every arts organization, to balance which projects have to come first, or which projects fit together in terms of timing and resources.
Okay, and then drives me to a question about why do you like a project like yours that is obviously super stable, super good, have a history, people know it, they know what they do. why do you stay local and you don't go bigger? Why do you stay in your region?
Um, I think for the musician of the orchestra, it's very important to focus locally, to be there for their people, because the city of Potsdam is so close to Berlin, and Berlin has so many arts organizations and so much music going on. So they still here in Potsdam, they still want to have their own standing as being the representatives of the local culture. But of course, the orchestra is going on tours, and they have concerts in Berlin and in Elbphilharmonie in Hamburg, for example, or in the south of Germany, and even sometimes in other countries. But the as I could say, the educational work is really a bit more locally organized, so that it really serves the community over here.
Yeah,
But
actually
I
I
mean,
like that.
there are of course CD productions that can be available to anyone, or some video productions online on YouTube.
Yeah, as I said, I really like that. I think it's like super important for like local communities for projects. I've like been interviewing projects all over Germany, and I think it's like super. I'm wowed about how like so many cool, nice projects working in a small villages and small or small cities, and they care about the local, and this is the whole thing. And I think like this like Fund Soziokultur, which is like supporting this podcast as well, is like they give money for that project, for like the impact that this projects do on the local communities. And then now, so I have to ask about the fund you're getting from Socioculture, Fund Socioculture. What does this fund do to you, and like how you will like have an impact on your project and your plans?
So we have in our programming we already have one concert for hearing impaired children, and we really wanted to expand this offer to youth and adults. And so, with the help of the money of the Fonds Soziokultur, we are able to organize two more concerts, and the whole project before those concerts, to work closely together with this non-hearing actor Jan Zell. And so the what we try to do with this money is to also have more musicians work together on the concept for the concert, so that we all learn more about how music can be felt without actually hearing the music. And so we really want to go into this huge project with this money. And then we want to do a few smaller things. So in order to gain more knowledge again about inclusion and diversity, we have organized this concert also for a school with children, handicapped children, and so we would like to go deeper into this cooperation as well, and learn more about how these children perceive the music. And the third one would be to have like it's more like I'm envisioning some kind of a jam session between our musicians, the classical musicians with the classical German instruments, with a few musicians from other cultures, to come together, and also with a youth from different with different backgrounds, to learn from each other about the ways of music, about what music can be.
Sounds beautiful. And that like drives me to this question, and that I'm asking everyone. Because this podcast and the whole project for me is the way to understand socioculture, which is socioculture in English. You know, this term is like super specific in Germany somehow, and it's like a German thing to talk about socioculture, to talk about this like grassroots organizations or like Familienzentrum or these things that are super important in a German culture, let's say, and it's like affecting the societies and like the communities that are in Germany. And I'm trying to ask everyone just for me to understand what is socioculture. So I would ask you to like, what is socioculture for you?
It would be the combination of the cultural aspect and the social aspect. Of course, a concert is always also a social event because people come together and they enjoy together the music. They listen to the music and they become a certain group, even though they don't know each other in a concert hall. But now, for the last 20 years or so, we have been thinking, how can you even come closer, or how can you reach various segments of audiences, or how can you reach people who would not normally come to the concert hall, go and listen to a scheduled concert. So I think that is where socioculture becomes even more social, or becomes a new definition, that the culture is not just taking place in the concert hall, but also where the people are. Maybe it's also, what socioculture can also be, what people make out of culture, right? They transform culture, they change what cultural values are, and then they come together.
This podcast is supported by Fonds Soziokultur. The music is composed by Benjamin Berry. See you in the next episode.